the morning already. And we're live. Okay, well, hello there. My name is TELx, and it's February the 19th here in sunny New Zealand, or most likely still the 18th, where everybody else is that's still awake. So wherever you are in the world, welcome to our 31st TELx Council meeting. And I'll begin with the usual quick summary introduction. The TELx Council is a local governance organisation within the wider Telcoin Association and is responsible for representing the general interests of and informing the community in all matters pertaining to TELx, which is the self-custodial liquidity engine of the Telcoin platform. The TELx Council has the authority over all TELx operational rules and also has the mandate to alter TELx harvesting rules in order to regulate the flow of TEL issuance from TELx and help create new liquidity pools in order to incentivize and support the wider Telcoin ecosystem. The TELx Council accepts through the Telcoin Forum TELx improvement proposals, also known as TELx IPs, which can amend or introduce new elements to TELx. So these meetings provide a platform for the authors of TELx IPs, which, as a reminder, can be any member of the community, not just council members, to present their proposals to the council and wider community, and also allow the council members to review, debate and refine these proposals to eventually reach a consensus. The proposal is then put forward to a formal approval vote through Snapshot. Participation in these Snapshot votes are a mandatory requirement for all TELx Council members. And in order for a proposal to be approved, there needs to be a 5 out of 6 majority vote in favour, and all 6 members must vote within 7 days from the start date of the proposal being uploaded to Snapshot. These bi-weekly council meetings also provide several critical functions for our governance. They help provide transparency to our community and provide a semi-formal structure for our discussions. They provide a medium for regular TELx ecosystem updates and help facilitate the maintenance and improvements to the TELx website. And finally, and most importantly, they allow the wider community to directly engage in Q&A with the council members, which in turn helps promote overall system health and social well-being. So for today's meeting, I'll be hosting. There's a few apologies from 3 council members: Eric, who's on vacation in the North Pole, Mike, who's in transit somewhere over America, and Andrew, who's tied up with other business commitments. So we'll have a short recap from our last meeting. So over to you, Boo Classic. Thank you.
Thank you, Ty. So last meeting's recap. Uniswap V4 Pools. The Council reviewed protocol diversification whilst maintaining TELx subscription and Snapshot governance compatibility. The V4 reward distribution recently improved with liquidity share closer to reward share. V4 is still considered complex, especially for stable pairs. Most liquidity remains in earlier balancer V2 pools, likely due to easier management and market conditions. V4 is seen as better suited to volatile pairs rather than stablecoin pools, and the long-term direction is still under evaluation alongside some alternative pool designs. Regarding Merkl and the Merkl Meeting, we discussed trial integration and running Merkl in parallel with the current reward system. The goal is to compare performance and distribution efficiency. We confirmed to Merkl that rewards must go only to subscribed TELx positions. There's 2 implementation options: address level or position level eligibility, with position level preferred. The Merkl advantages are that it offers flexible incentives, dynamic campaigns, and less manual maintenance. There's active tick targeting, and bounded rewards may reduce manipulation. Their fees of approximately 1% are considered an acceptable trade-off, and we were awaiting technical feedback and potential costings before we can start testing. On the TELx website, the liquidity provider guide is now live. Some minor user questions about the guide have now been addressed. The fee graph display bug is currently being fixed. The Unified Association web presence is in progress. The TELx Analytics dashboard is evolving into an automated audit/reporting tool. Future UI improvements are planned and yet to be scoped. On the TELx University, the beginner's course was stated as nearly complete, but delayed for a final polish. Potential improvements to include diagrams, navigation, recap video, and NFT gamification. The focus is on launching fully ready rather than iterating post-launch. On the eXYZ digital dollars, we discussed recent regulatory developments and potential advantages for bank-issued stablecoins. Telcoin could be positioned strongly if yield is limited to licensed issuers, and coordination still needs to be planned with Telcoin holdings on governance, incentives, and stablecoin corridors. That's the end of the recap, so back to you, Ty.
Thanks, Boo. Very, very detailed and comprehensive. You should do this every week, mate. Great job, great job. Okay, so looking at the agenda items for today, let's roll the next two items together, which is the Uniswap V4 Pools and the Merkl Meeting, because I think they're really both connected. Probably the best person to update us on the Merkl side it's your boy, Leo. So if you can come up to the mic, then maybe give us an update on where we are at with Merkl, please.
Hello, yes. So I met with Baptiste a bit earlier in the week, and basically we have two options. As Boo mentioned, there's the per wallet option, whereby each wallet which has at least one TELx LP position subscribed will be eligible for rewards, or there's the per position option, which will require each position to be subscribed in order to be rewarded. So for them to build this functionality, they have to do a bit of work on their end. So there are some costs associated. So for the first option, which is the address level gating, that would cost $3,000. And for the second one, the position gated would cost $6,000. I believe the council members in general are leaning towards the latter. So we have that granularity and we have a more direct comparison with our current setup. Integration, Merkl say, would take 2 weeks from the word go, but they plan things on a Friday, so basically 2 weeks from the next Friday. But before that, we have to get a proposal out and vote on it. So that's kind of a bit over 2 weeks away at the earliest possible point. Was there anything else?
No, I think that's okay. I think I think you're right. I think the general consensus from the council is that we go with the per position option, because we want to compare apples with apples, and purely on the first option, the wallet option, we wouldn't be comparing apples like we like. So yeah. And for the relatively small increase, I know it's like 50% more, but in the greater scheme of things, another $3,000 for getting.
It's 100% more, but
yeah. But again, $3,000 for the benefit for a successful trial, I think is worth it.
And I should add as well, they they were open to kind of spreading those payments out over a period. So we're currently working with about 6 months just to kind of give the token price, token a bit of time to recover.
Yeah.
So,
I think, I was going to mention that. I think I did a quick back of packet analysis, and at current prices, that's about just over, what was it, 3 million, no, 2.175 million TEL, or 363,000 per month over a 6-month payment period. So we need to decide where that funding for that is coming from. I think we really should get a proposal together as quickly as possible. It doesn't need to be a hugely detailed proposal, but I think to adhere to the governance structure, we do need a formal proposal up on the forum, give it a few days for feedback, and then put forward for the snapshot vote. So that probably will take 2 weeks elapsed time if we get a proposal finalised this week. I can try and put together something if I'll put my hand up for that proposal. I'd like to get one successfully through. I've written 2 that have been deferred or postponed. So I'd like to break my duck on a successful approval. So I'll
third time's the charm.
Yeah. Third time's the charm. So I'll put that together.
Nice.
And unless there's any questions from the community or feedback, I think the thread of the conversations in Slack is we really should get this going as quickly as possible, and then it gives us a much better position then to decide whether or not to adopt Merkl as a distribution mechanism or not. So I think we do need to get this done as quickly as possible. That's my feelings. Anybody else got anything to say on that?
Yeah, I just think the only contention really is exactly where the funding's coming from. If it was to be taken from specific pools, for example, we just need to all agree internally first, possibly before you write your proposal or finish your proposal ready for submission.
Yeah, that's certainly the key thing. It's not a huge amount, but it's still a significant, 2 million, over 2 million TEL is what I can't remember really from our budget allocation. Maybe Leo can help clarify. Not wanting to put you on the spot, Leo, but from our annual budget allocation, is there any left over from issuance, the amounts we issue? Is there a buffer for small payments like this, or are we fully allocated our budget in terms of rewards incentives?
I haven't run the numbers exactly, but I think it's about, I think what our current kind of issuance rate is basically our full budget. There is, however, the TELx operational wallet, which was funded last year with 10 million TEL tokens. So we can always dig into that if need be.
I don't know what the balance is in that ops wallet, Leo, but maybe if you can just confirm.
I don't think it's been touched since. So
I had totally forgotten about that operational wallet. So
yeah,
that's handy. That's a nice little one. Yeah, so we don't need to.
Bit of money down the back of the sofa.
Yeah, my back pocket's feeling comfortable. So yes.
Yeah,
great.
So that is an option as well.
I think that's a sensible option then, because if we needed to reduce any incentives, then that would raise another kind of side issue. So if we can keep the incentives flowing at their current rate until we get the trial over and done with, then the operational wallet's the place to fund this from, I think. So okay, if you can just confirm, well, okay, you're more or less confirming that we've got the money available in that operational wallet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I'll put that in the proposal, and I'll try and write something up over the next few days and get it on the forum, which
Awesome.
is the vehicle for these proposals. And
Excellent.
welcome any community feedback as well as council member feedback. So let's get that moving then. Good. All right then. And I suppose the next thing that flows on from the pool discussion, unless there's any questions, is the last item, which is the eXYZ digital dollars. We'll just follow on from that just now. We are waiting on sitting down with Holdings and trying to have a discussion with Paul to try and shed more light on where the future needs for these stablecoin pools will come from. And the latest from Mike is that he's not managed to get in touch with Paul or have any confirmation of a time. So I think the action from this meeting should be back on Mike's shoulders to try and get that conversation happening, so that we just have clarity over what our future needs will be, if we can, and that will help us better decide the future of pools in general and how we organise these pools in general. And I think as a council, we still need to be looking at the bigger picture of, at the moment, we've got a fully allocated 6-pool kind of structure. And I think we need to be moving towards a more flexible structure where rewards are maybe not equally distributed across the 6 pools, but maybe done more on a formulaic basis. And by adopting Merkl as a distribution, then that will help give us that flexibility to move quickly when we need to bring on additional pools into the ecosystem. So we do need to be continuing that wider discussion on how we allocate rewards and how we manage rewards across all the pools, and set a procedure or a what's the word I'm looking for, a structure in place to help facilitate that. So I think that's ongoing. Anybody else want to say anything on that front?
Yeah, we certainly need to know that if there's a need to bootstrap any new pools, and obviously I think most people know since our last meeting, we've had the launch of the USDC, EUSD pools on both Base and Solana, which is good, and there's also Uniswap on Base and Radium on Solana, so those are all up and running. But yeah, we've got no control over those pools at the moment, so we need to know whether we're going to be responsible for them going forward. So as soon as we get that clarification, the better.
Yeah, cool. I'll just check the Restream chat, see if there's no questions there. There's nothing coming up on the direct feed. Derek, is there? I don't know if you're actually in the room or just... I've
just got one thing to mention, Ty, going back to the pools.
Okay.
I'm hearing reports today that Base plan to transition away from Optimism's OP stack and move to their own independently managed stack. Now, in theory, applications such as Uniswap are not expected to be impacted, but obviously if we're developing on Base, we might want to retest our software when the new infrastructure goes live in the next few months or so. So just a heads up from what I'm hearing today.
Okay. Right. Derek? Yeah.
Boo, just a note on that. It would be good. We could probably leverage talking to Cody, because he's pretty well connected there also, with Base and everything else. He has a pretty good understanding and working based on some of his work at the block. with them, so he could probably give some guidance there.
Okay, thanks, Derek.
And Ty, to answer your question, no, there's no other right now, no other questions in the chat.
Okay. So just on that then, Boo, what does that really mean? A non-technical person like myself, what
Well, they're
does
going to be
moving the
changing.
stack
Basically,
mean?
they're going to be changing the back end, and whenever there are big changes, let's expect. I won't quite say downtime, but let's expect some changes. And we've noticed that base hasn't been too stable for Uniswap at the best of times. It may just be more of the same, or maybe that's why they're doing it. I don't know. It's early to say at the moment, but yeah, I think Derek's right. Let's find out what we can through Coty and just keep our eye on the news. But there's certainly something going on, and I think you picked up on something earlier as well. So
Yeah, it was a X post that Andrew posted. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So really, just
and I've got a
change.
question for Derek actually. We had some late TELx rewards. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Derek, can you just summarize what happened? I think it was something to do with alchemy, or maybe
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So long story short, the way that the script is ran is it uses an RPC node to generate and goes through essentially the backend calculator to pull the pool data and generates the output, which then goes through another script that outputs the Excel files. We had an issue with one of the node we were using was corrupted, and we had to kind of figure out a workaround in order to get the script to run on chain. It took us a little while to diagnose it and get it figured out, but that's what the delay was. Leo and I stayed up till like, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning one night, getting it figured out. So then after you get that figured out, then you have to run it. You have to let the script do its thing. Then you have to verify the output to make sure that you didn't miss any positions. And then you have to output I call it the human readable, which is essentially the Excel files. So that was the delay. We've got it sorted now, so it shouldn't be a huge lift anymore. I've got mine set up properly as a backup for redundancy in case it happens again. So
okay, thank you very much.
Good. Thanks for that, Boo. Yeah, that just closes the loop on that one. So yeah, because I think it was period 25 was delayed, and then period 26 came like within a day later.
yeah, yep. And then on top of that, there was a note about the balancer pools, like the issuance had stopped flowing. So those buckets have to be essentially replenished every so often, right? The pools in which the rewards flow from, especially on like base and everywhere else. And so when they just needed to be a re-up, but that's a multi-sig transaction, so you got to have multiple people that sign it for security purposes, to make sure that it's all on the up and up. So kind of both of those collided at the same time and left us scrambling a little bit. So I think we've got it all squared away now. We got the main issue fixed, so the main bug is done.
Thanks. Yeah, there's been no issues raised on Discord, which is where I check most often. So yeah, no, we're looking good, and hopefully the rewards will come out soon for period 27. I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, they finalized. We just have to. I'll get with Leo and we'll get it. We'll get them squared away. All good.
Let's take an action there, Ty, to see if we can. Well, we can discuss next Wednesday if there's anything we can do about more visibility about the balances of what's in all of those all of those safes, so we don't run out in the future and we can see it without having to. The first we hear about it, find out from the community. And whether that means putting that type of thing up on TELx, on the TELx UI, I don't know.
Yeah, there's
we need to discuss it.
There's something else that Leo and I talked about too, of just having a, like I said, like an audit script. And I have a PR ready to go that I'll need him and Grant just to review. That'll generate a secondary step for the output that you guys will be able to essentially review before the transactions go to signature. So that'll create kind of an additional, not on top of the audit step that we already have internally, it'll create another audit step, which will be good. So
yeah,
shouldn't slow up the process any. It should just add another step for approvals or for just for people to look over to make sure that everything's on the up and up. But yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Yeah, no, good point, Boo. And yeah, I think more visibility, especially for the council, on what's happening in the background is always good. So, okay, let's move on to just TELx website then. The next item, I contacted Khalil a day or so ago just to see where he was with the couple of minor issues we had on the fees being displayed on the bar chart that gets displayed on the TELx website. When you look at a pool and you look at total value, you look at volume, you look at fees, the fee information, if you hovered over the bar, didn't seem to tie in with the total 24-hour fees being displayed. And I think there was a problem, and he's fixed that now. So that will be implemented and pushed through to production the next time a general update gets done. So certainly within a week, couple of weeks, we should get that problem sorted. Minor problem really, but we want to try and make it as accurate as possible. So yeah, that's where we're up to with that. And I don't think there's any other TELx website issues being actively worked on. I may be wrong, but I don't think so, apart from the general unification of website work that the association is undertaking. So I think we've got a fairly stable website at the moment.
Yep.
Cool. Right, and I think the last thing is just really a quick update on the university, which is we're really still waiting for that to be finalised and getting all the licensing stuff sorted. So we'll keep you posted as soon as we know anything definite on the launch of the TELx University website. And unless that's really, I think we've covered off all the agenda items, unless there's any questions. We're very, very quiet on the feedback loop this week. Nothing on the restream that I can see. Nothing in the chat. So unless there's any other questions or items that we want to discuss, we might as well have an early night tonight.
Sounds good.
Anything?
Next meeting.
No. Next meeting, 2 weeks' time. Hopefully we'll have a fuller council representation. When is that, Boo? I think you know.
Wednesday, 4th of March.
4th of March, yeah. And I probably hosted this meeting out of my turn, so we'll see if maybe Andrew can host that meeting, but we'll sort something out before then.
You did great, Ty. All good.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you. Always appreciated. Always appreciated. All right then. Okay, well, yeah, I think that's a wrap. So we'll bid you good day, good night, good evening, and see you next time around.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye for now. Thanks, guys.